behind the surge in AI companion engagement among young people and even adults?
Well, first of all, surge it is. There is an incredible uptake of this technology. It's the most rapid uptake of a new technology I think we've ever seen. It's guesstimated that at least 500 million people in the world have some kind of companion chatbot. And just in the US, for example, 2/3 of young people have used one. And what's believed to be behind it, although it'll take years since this has all happened so quickly to really understand what's going on, is a combination of factors. One is the loneliness crisis, with 61% of young people reporting serious loneliness, and elders, et cetera, other groups as well. Another thing is that, post-COVID, people are very used to doing everything through text. And so it's just become very normal to have relationships through texting, which most of the bots are using. And then third, which we'll talk about, is there's a boom in business seeing this as an opportunity to collect data and have other kinds of big profits. So there's a lot of companies, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of investment in it. And we'll talk about some of the outreach that companies are doing that I consider manipulative.
And Jodi, we usually connect loneliness to elder people. Why are younger people so especially attracted to these AI companions?
It's a great question. A couple of things. First of all, and this is really very frustrating for me as someone who studied the intersection of technology and public health. One of the biggest potential causes of loneliness is actually the many years of use of social media has led to the erosion of in-person groups, after school activities, community engagement by young people. So young people are by themselves with their phones more because of what's already happened with the profits really through social media. Another thing, though, that makes young people not just lonely, but sort of sitting ducks for companionship bots and for the risks of getting too involved with the bots is that in early adolescence, the brain is wired to create very intense attachments very quickly. A colleague of mine said something funny to illustrate this. He said the story of Romeo and Juliet is written about two 13-year-olds. You would never hear a story about two 40-year-olds that met, fell in love, and within 72 hours killed themselves over each other. But young people are really created to intensely attach to almost anything too quickly and be at risk of suicide and other factors if there's rejection, et cetera. So young people are very vulnerable to the uneven behavior of the bots.
And Jodi, Replica's founder has implied even marriage to a chatbot is not outside the realm of possibility. How far is too far?
Well, for me, Diego, my focus has been on protecting children and teens, where we've had several lawsuits over suicides related to bot love affairs. And it's pretty terrible and pretty serious. So for me, it's way too far for any companion chatbots at all to cultivate romantic or enmeshed relationships with minors. In terms of adults and what adults do with bots, there's a lot more openness because we believe in people's rights to do all kinds of things that may or may not benefit them. And I want to make it very clear that I don't judge any user of a chatbot. I think we are all vulnerable to being kind of sucked in by them. And there's, possibly some ways it's been helpful for some people as well. I know that. But I think that the overuse and dependence where people withdraw from relationships with real people is the concern.
And Jodi, there has been discussion of the manipulative tactics used by these AI companions to draw in users and keep them engaged, right? What safeguards are already in place, and why aren't there more?
There's essentially in the informal sphere, which is what almost all of the chatbot uses, not going through a regulated health FDA-approved company, but in the informal sphere, there's almost no safeguards. For example, there's no confidentiality protections. People don't realize that. But beyond that, if a person talks to a bot about suicidal intent, right now the companies, until these lawsuits at least are decided, have no clear liability. So there's basically no safeguards for these very intense emotional relationships that have been associated and brought up in lawsuits as related to some very serious risks.
Jodi Halpern, thank you very much for your time and insights.